We know from hearings in this committee that in the 2020 election that ads were throttled from President Trump. And Mr. Juhl, what is Group M doing to make sure that President Trump's ads are not going to be throttled here in the 2024 election?
Thank you for the question. Group M works with all of our different publishers and partners to enforce their standards of service, to make sure that we look at what those are. And that's part of the reason that we actually use GARM and others, is to get an industry framework and guidelines and use third parties to look at the content that comes through and make sure that it's performing as it should.
So will you be watching companies like Google, like Meta, like X to make sure that they are not throttling information coming from conservatives and in particular President Trump?
We actually work with all the major publishers around the world, and certainly here in the United States, and meet with them on a regular basis to talk about their standards of service, their policies, and make sure that they are living to those standards of service. It's really important to us to have choice in this marketplace and to be able to connect our brands and consumers in a wide variety of organizations.
So there's a real concern that we see this email. There were some emails that were posted earlier. We have one here from Joe Barone, Managing Partner, Brand Safety Americas. We confirmed with Spotify that Group M Brand Safety Team will conduct a complete trust and safety review. This was after, this was in response to Joe Rogan being on Spotify. Spotify said, we do not want to take Joe Rogan down. And you guys put additional pressure on. How can we be confident with something like that happening? Is Mr. Barone still working for Group M?
No, sir, he's not.
Okay, so we can be confident something like this will not happen again, where you guys used actually kind of secondary power to secondary authority to be able to go after somebody like Spotify. We can be confident that's not going to happen again?
Sir, we routinely conduct brand and safety reviews to make sure that these partners of ours are living to their standards. And in the case of Spotify, we didn't boycott anything, we didn't pull our spend. They continue to be a major media partner for us. We wanted to understand during a health crisis in America what Joe Rogan was talking about, and did it comply with Spotify's standards of service?
So one final issue in regards to this, is it, has Group M done a mea culpa in regards to this information that was throttled in regards to the COVID disaster that happened, not just in the United States, but across the world? Has there been an acknowledgement by Group M that many of the things that were talked about by people like Joe Rogan and others have actually turned out to be true, that they are not misinformation? Has Group M acknowledged that?
Sir, I'm not aware that Group M ever came out and said that Joe Rogan was spreading misinformation or that Spotify, the platform. We asked Spotify to clarify their policies. We are in the business of connecting brands and consumers in a way that their messages can be heard in an authentic manner.
So you weren't going after Spotify?
As I said, we never reduced our spend once. We didn't call for a boycott. We didn't, we asked for clarification from Spotify.
Mr. Patel, the VP for Facebook let us know a few years ago that they put out information telling people how to get into this country illegally, and we've seen over 10 million people do that here in less than 4 years under the Biden administration. Is your company, Unilever, does some advertising on Meta, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is a Trump ad, as was alluded to by my colleague from Florida, is that more dangerous, or is it more dangerous to have Facebook telling people how to get into our country illegally? You had some VPs that said that a Trump ad was very dangerous and that it should be pulled down. Is that more dangerous, a Trump advertisement for president, or is a Facebook saying that they are encouraging people to come into the country illegally? Which one's more dangerous?
So from a Unilever lens, we believe that's not the content we want our brands associated with.
Will you stop advertising with Meta? Because they have encouraged people to come in illegally. I mean, if you took an ad like that out in the newspaper, you'd be in big trouble. It seems like the same thing should happen to Meta. They're breaking the law, telling people how to come into this country illegally. Will you be dropping your advertising from them?
So that's why we work with Group M and different partners to ensure our brands appear adjacent to the content that we're targeting for the audiences that we are.
But hasn't Group M failed you then? They did not find out that they're actually encouraging illegal activity. Shouldn't Group M be telling you that, hey, there's a problem here?
So that would be, we also have verification within our own organization to see where our assets are appearing. So it would be picked up in the system.